Muy bien. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Far Out Wisdom Podcast. So officially everybody's on lockdown. Well, not on lockdown, like there's martial law or anything of that matter, but it's a pandemic that's happening right now, a time of crisis. With the coronavirus is spreading in America, so we're having a lot of inconveniences that's happening around the world. So a lot of people have to cancel their vacation. So we have a child at home who's supposed to go to school, but he's not going to school, so he's really antsy. So if you can hear him in the background, yes, that's pretty much what's going on at the moment. So anyways, he's irritated, everybody's irritated, we have to stay home. So it's really like a time of just constriction and anxiety. And so this podcast, I wanted to record it really quick. And it's getting disrupted by a little toddler who's he has to stay home. The coronavirus is not really affecting people his age or anything of that matter, but however, just to play it safe, just to protect him. So the state of California said that we are supposed to stay inside and not to go to any big gatherings. Fresno County, where I live, we are officially on lockdown, shelter in place. Luckily for me, I do have a job that's considered important. So essential businesses like mine, we stay open to the public. But I am beginning to feel the anxiety myself. I'm not freaking out or anything. It's like I told many people, it's not the virus that scares me. It's the people that's panicking that scares me. So this episode was inspired by Connor Durting from the Daily Discussion. He was talking to Jenner Zeno and I about him going on detox for about 7 days. And he's empathic. So when a person who is empathic, we pretty much feel all the energy that's going around. We're very sensitive to the residue of the world. He thinks it's due to what he's eating, which is it's also true. But I have made a point that he's feeling the energy of other people, especially during this time of crisis. So, Connor, I totally understand what you're going through. And he's also working as well. So he's making deliveries, and it's just, the whole world is just, it feels like it's falling apart. But just bear with us, bear with the world. It's going to be okay, especially for parents who are forced to stay home when their little babies are beginning to become antsy, just like mine. You probably could hear them in the background. If I could make my editing magic happen. So another person that's affected is my husband as well. So he's stuck at home for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then his job had to lay off people as well. So I might as well talk about anxiety, what goes through my head. So ever since I was a little kid, I just could remember the attacks before school. I didn't really like school. It's not because the fact that I didn't have any friends, but the fact that I just didn't feel like I fit in. And I would wake up and I would feel a headache. I would feel tired even though I slept for about 8 hours. I suffer from stomach aches, which I still do. It's all emotional baggage that I have held that I should really let go, but I don't for some odd reason. So still learning. And, what goes through my head is that I'm very self-conscious of what's going on around me. I'm self-anxious, so I'm like, okay, do people can tell with the way I look? Are they looking at me? Are they judging me? Do they see this scar on my face? Do they make fun of my teeth? And that's pretty much what I think about especially when I'm out in public, and which I still do. When I make this podcast, sometimes I get really anxious before an interview. And I have to cancel on Connor multiple times because of the fact that I was just really nervous. And Connor's a good guy. If you go to Daily Discussion, he's really down to earth. He pretty much understands where you're coming from, and he's empathic. So we both feel each other's energy, and I'm pretty sure he feels mine sometimes. And then our buddy in the middle, Jenner, he helps pretty much balance the energy between all of us. So we're like a complete trio. And like I just feel like I'm judged, and this pretty much what goes on through my head. And I'm like, what's gonna happen? The what if? Okay, what if I faint in public? What if I vomit in public? And I think the reason is because when I was little, I used to have a lot of stomach aches, and so it will cause me to become nauseous, and I will vomit in class. And I remember one time in fourth grade that happened. I vomited right on the desk, and I remember the chick right in front of me. She was like, "Ew, that's disgusting." So it really stuck with me, and so I became self-conscious ever since. So, when I make this podcast, when I put myself out there, so far I have been getting a lot of not backlash, but just the things that I talk about. So the other day, I just had people try to tell me how to run my podcast. And there's a difference between criticism and telling me how to operate my project, my baby. This is my birth. This is what I made, And so all the characters that I made, baby Hitler, baby Stalin, baby Jesus, this is pretty much my creation. The podcast, the Far Out Wisdom podcast, was my creation. And every time that I do something, I always have people trying to dominate my project. This happens every single time. And I'm going to quote Jenner. If anybody who tries to tell me how to run my podcast, they can eat my dick. And that's pretty much the attitude that I'm beginning to feel. And so my anxiety stems from the authoritarian figure in my life, which was my father. And so I see during this time of crisis, you began to see the mental illness that Americans are experiencing. I mean, we're all doped up on drugs. We are just consist of medication after medication, bad food, junk food. And so, of course, during this crisis, what's a perfect time for it to come out, And especially with Connor, he feels anxious, and I believe majority of it is the residue he's feeling from the people around him. I don't know how many cases that were positive with the coronavirus in his area. He lives in Washington, but we have just now somebody was confirmed with the coronavirus here in Fresno, California. So automatically, a lot of people are just like freaking out. And I'm trying to stay calm. I'm trying to remain calm in the process. And so when you're anxious or you put yourself in that state of mind, you are going to burn yourself out. And I'm talking this from experience. And so I'm tired all the time. My adrenaline glands are just fatigued. And sometimes when I get enough, I have to like sleep throughout the day, like naps multiple times a day, because I need my energy back. And it's so difficult for me to operate sometimes. And so, especially this time when there's a pandemic going on, everybody needs to fucking relax. Okay. And I'm irritated. I become irritated when in fact nothing is going on in my life. I'm okay. I follow the procedures and things like that. And if I need supplies, I can just order it online. And I can freestyle toilet paper. I don't give a shit. I'll make a bidet to wash my butt, I don't need toilet paper to wipe my butthole. But it just it's just everybody's not thinking about themselves, therefore causing this whole anxiety to happen. Especially for people who is empathic, like Connor and I, and like Jenner. So we feel the energy of everybody else, and so we kind of like have to push back a little bit. He's kind of forced to because of his job. So I feel bad for him. And Connor, if you're listening to this, dude, let's just take a deep breath. We have a podcast to do tomorrow. We could just have a conversation. We just chill. And I understand what you're feeling. So it's just like everybody's trying to make a exit plan, And that's pretty much anybody who has anxiety. So when you have anxiety or suffer from anxiety, you make exit plans. You think, okay, where is the nearest door that I can leave? Or should I make an excuse? And that's pretty much what I did to Connor. Making excuses and stuff not to be on the podcast. And I felt really bad, but he knows. He's not dumb. He feels the energy that I'm putting out. And this is my mindset that I put myself in. And it made me came to the realization that, damn, how come I didn't take control of this? The world is not going to end. And I think it's there. I'm going to have an episode where I will break down why this pandemic is causing a lot of panic. Is because of my theory that Westerners haven't learned to die yet. So that's going to be an interesting segment that I will probably have Jenner on to talk about it. So it's just, we are so safe. And I think that's pretty much what, the word is. The most popular word that we know is safe space. And so in our country, we've been so safe, so concealed from the world that when a pandemic like this happens, nobody knows what to do. They're just panic buying. They're not thinking about other people. They're only thinking about themselves. And it's just so selfish, the things that I'm seeing right now. Even at my job, people are stealing supplies. Okay, to the point where I had to put up a sign and say, do not take soaps or toilet paper. I don't give a damn if you don't have toilet paper at home. Wash your butt. Do something. I go, this supply is meant for everybody in this particular building. It's not for personal use. And I can't believe I have to say that to adults. Okay? When did we become a nation of fucking pussies? I don't understand. And it makes you think, and it makes you question about some real deep shit that's going to happen. That's not going to happen, but like, what if China, there was an invasion? What we're going to do? Are we just going to go steal toilet paper and just cower it away? And this is where people with anxiety, we're allowing a mental illness to overtake us. And what we need to do is tell anxiety to fuck off. And to say, hey man, you're not in control of me. And this is pretty much the pandemic. They feel like they're out of control. No, what you need to do is take control of the situation. Don't fucking panic. Relax and allow everything to happen. And with people with anxiety, the reason why we become anxious is because the fact that we feel like we're not in control of the situation. And that's where the anxiety comes in. And I'm talking from experience. I've been having anxiety for the last 3 months. But it's my fault because of the fact that I've been eating incorrectly and I haven't been really sleeping well. Working on the podcast, working on my projects, going to work, supporting a family, and things like that, and with everything going on with my son. And so I feel like I'm not in control of the situation, therefore causing me to have anxiety attacks. So I have learned a lot these past 2 weeks. I feel like I have grown as a person, especially when it comes to my anxiety. And I don't feel ashamed anymore like I used to. And what we need to do, what Connor and I need to do with anybody who has anxiety, what we need to do is tell anxiety to fuck off. It's enough. We're done. We're not going to take this anymore. And especially for people who are empathic, make sure that the anxiety that you're feeling, it's not you first. And ask questions in your life. Pay attention to your dreams. And I always recommend this. If you feel like you're having anxiety, there's something going on subconsciously that you're not really aware of, and that you need to think about it. So with me, it's something going on with my life, and so I have to think, and so I pay attention to my dreams. And my dreams has unveiled so many things that I've learned about myself that I'm beginning to become a very different person. I'm shedding skin like a reptilian snake, all right? I'm growing into a new person. And so the situation with Connor, I honestly believe that it's probably poor diet, But most importantly, it's because of the energy that he's feeling from the people around him. And Connor, if you guys look at him, go to a daily discussion, the dude's pretty chill. He takes so much shit. And just like me and Jenner and Connor was talking about today, you know, those guys take so much shit from people sometimes. And, you know, Jenner, you know, in comparison to, you know, so we're in a chat together. So it's Jesse Rogers, Connor, Jesse Rogers from Resurgent, Connor Dirting from the Daily Discussion, and Jenner Zeno from the Mindwave. We're in a group together. So what we do is we're working on a project with each other, and we're trying to put our podcast together and kind of morph it into something or a movement or some sort. And if you can say that I'm the one that's the most aggressive out of all three of them, and it's a mixture of everything, you know, all the shit that I have taken over the years of my life. And for them to understand that's really remarkable and loving and compassionate of them. So, you know, thanks guys, you know, so, but, you know, to end this is just fuck anxiety. The coronavirus is out of our control. Okay, don't start panicking. Don't go on Facebook and start, you know, saying, oh, the end is 9, you know, no, just, you're making it worse for everybody else. So, what needs to happen is chill out. You know, don't be like my son who just screamed right now, okay? Relax, take a deep breath, and as always, guys, stay far out.